What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Better Day Sports coming at you live and refresh. We've got some energy, and we're really excited for you to come along and hear this great debate that we have for you because we have some good things in store. But if you are new to the channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button and notification bell to get notified every time we post a video. And leave a comment in the comment section down below of how you feel about our top 5 receivers, because NFL is upon us. We're already in week 3 and we have a lot of things to go over. But my boy, go ahead and start us off. Who's your honorable mention or, last on your top 5 list?
You know, I've been thinking about this a lot, and I think that there's a lot of bias when it comes to rating these receivers out here. And I think when it comes down to it, I'm just a big person on productivity, right? So, rounding out my number 5, I'm gonna go with Amon-Ra in Detroit. I think he's a very productive, underrated receiver. You can put him anywhere, even though he usually plays wide out. You can put him in a slot. He's one of those gadget receivers that you just can't stop. Perfect example is it was 4th and 2 when they played out in Baltimore on Monday night. And you would think they run the ball. Nope, they ran a fade route for who else? Amon-Ra, and he got a 20-plus yard gain on 4th and 2. Something that only he and the Detroit Lions can do. So I think when you can make plays like that, it's one of those situations where I'm like, okay, I don't think that there's 5 guys outside of the top 5 that's better than you. So, yeah, I think Amon-Ra definitely will start it off for me. But what about you?
See, I like that pick. He's not somebody I had in my top 5 simply because I didn't know what his numbers were going to look like this year. The Lions have had a somewhat shaky of a start, so I was not sure what that air game was going to look like on the line. So that's why I had him outside of my top 5. At my number 5 pick, I actually have Malik Neighbors. I had somebody going a little bit younger who I think is just up here for me when it comes to this season because he's going to have numbers, regardless if it's Dart, if it's Jameson throwing him the ball. The quarterback for the Giants is going to want to throw the ball deep, and Neighbors is one of their few receivers who is a speed guy who can beat people off the top. So I think his numbers this year are going to be beautiful, and I think he's really going to assert himself as a really nice young piece to an offense that might be exciting now that they're kind of moving away from um, Wilson back there at quarterback. So
I mean, we were just talking earlier before we started that quarterback play plays a role into this, right? So they just benched their starting quarterback in Russell Wilson for Jackson Dart. So are you still keeping him in that spot knowing that information just came out?
I am, because I think now Neighbors can go to his young quarterback and say, hey, man, just trust me. Like, throw me up the ball. I'm going to go do that for you. When he couldn't do that, you couldn't go back to the vet and say, hey, throw me the ball. Trust me. It was the relationship is different now. Neighbors is the one that he's looking up to saying, hey, like, you're my number 1 receiver. Like, how are we going to come together and make this function correctly? I think it's going to be a very similar offense. It's probably not going to be very good, but there's going to be some deep shots that are taken, and this is the boy right here. But who you have in your number 4 spot?
Number 4 spot, I'm gonna go with a vet, Mike Evans. Might be an unpopular pick for most people, but the way I see it is, look, there's not a lot of people that have 5 1,000-yard seasons, let alone 8 plus. So you mean to tell me that regardless of this quarterback play that you've been dealing with in Baltimore, in Tampa Bay, going through quarterbacks year after year, mediocrity, and then you get Tom Brady, and you still have the same level of productivity with Tom Brady that you didn't have with Tom Brady. So you mean to tell me that you're productive with arguably the greatest quarterback of all time, and you're also productive with names of Jameis Winston and Baker Mayfield and everybody else in between that has come through that quarterback carousel before they finally landed on a trusted quarterback in Baker Mayfield. So, I mean, listen, if you know that Mike Evans is on your scouting report and you know that you can't stop him and you know that he's going to get his whether the Buccaneers win or lose, I mean, I just have to tip my hat to you if you give me 12 receptions for 152 yards and 2 touchdowns, and I plan for you not to do that. So he's definitely in my top 4.
He, Mike Evans, they don't necessarily have the same play style, but he reminds me a lot in terms of his career as like a Larry Fitzgerald. He is just so consistent when it comes to his hands, when it comes to his catch radius, where he could be in the league for a abundant of time, like 6 more years, and you kind of look up like, man, he's still playing 1,000-yard receivers. Like, he doesn't make a lot of noise, nothing like that, but definitely like that pick. Now, oh, go ahead, my boy.
I think one of the really good comparisons for Mike Evans is you remember Torrey Holt, that
I
receiver?
do not.
Torrey
What do you
Holt,
want?
receiver out of St. Louis. Talk about productive year after year, 1,000 yard seasons, all pro seasons, the pedigree of a Hall of Famer. Another touchy subject. We'll talk about that possibly in another video. But Mike Evans reminds me of Torrey Holt. One of those receivers like, okay, 20 years go past. If I say Mike Evans, are you going to know who I'm talking about? Or do I have to show you that Torrey Holt mixtape and I say, oh, you forgot about this Mike Evans? So, yeah, I think that we need to put a little bit more respect on Mike Evans' name. So that's all I wanted to add.
I definitely agree with that. Now, at my number 4, might catch a little bit of heat for having him, I guess, this low on the list, which is already wild because it's only a top 5 list. I have Puka at number 4. And the reason I have Puka this low is a lot of receivers that go in and out of that organization play their best football. So I don't necessarily know if this is all based on Puka, all based on his talent and how good he is as a receiver, or is this also on a little bit of the offensive structure that he's in that has just been able to light people's careers when it comes to slot receivers who are quick and have good hands. But I have him this high because he's very productive, but it does kind of make me wonder sometimes what would he look like in a different offense.
I mean, do you think that he would be Puka without Stafford?
I don't. I don't. I think if you put him on, what's a team that you would compare to the Rams right now, I guess? In terms of, would you see maybe Tampa Bay? Like they have a good quarterback. Well, I think Stafford's a lot better than Baker Mayfield, but like I don't know many other places you can go to say he's getting a better quarterback than the one that he has. But I'm also very high on Stafford, so.
Yeah. Stafford is still a very underrated quarterback at this stage of his career. I think that, I mean, he won a Super Bowl. So he won a Super Bowl in the first year that he went to the Rams. So, I mean, so you mean to tell me all it took for you to get a ring was to leave Detroit for 12 months? I mean,
But I think that's what we all expected, though. As soon as he got away from Detroit, I'm like, oh yeah, he's gonna get one,
not that
at
fast,
least
though.
one.
Not that fast.
Oh, I definitely thought so. You basically planted him into a team that already had a dominant defense and a good head coach. I'm like, oh yeah, that's exactly what this quarterback has needed his entire career.
And to be fair, he did play the Bengals in the Super Bowl.
I mean, you can't help it. You play. You can't help it. Hey, it is what it is.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's really easy to, read some defensive coverages if I know that I have Eli Apple as one of my defenders. No shade, no shade, but
I mean, that's valid.
he got cooked royally.
A couple times.
Yeah, yeah.
So you got who? Are you at you at 3?
3, yeah, my number 3. I have to go with it, even though he's hurt. Wishing him a speedy recovery, but I gotta go with CD, aka DVD Lamb. I think that. Listen, say what you want about Dallas. Say what you want about the infrastructure and the organization and fun-loving Jerry Jones. When it comes down to it, CeeDee Lamb produces when he's double covered. He produces when their offense is stagnant. He shines when their offense is glowing. You just gave him George Pickens to get a lot of heat off of him to make him even more productive than what he already is. And listen, I've had CeeDee Lamb on a couple of my fantasy teams. I've seen him play in person. He's electrifying. He gives me Michael Irvin vibes when I watch the Dallas Cowboys play. He's that electric. He's that game breaker that can change a game where, Dak Prescott can just lob it up, throw it about 60 yards. CeeDee Lamb might come down with it if he's paying attention. It's just one of those things where I refuse to sit down here and take all of this CeeDee Lamb disrespect just because he plays for the Cowboys and he hasn't won anything. That's a Cowboys. That's an organizational situation. That has nothing to do with him. He puts his numbers up. There's a reason that they paid him because they know that somebody was going to take him from them if they didn't. So, I mean, if it comes down to the situation where you either pay me or you let somebody else have my services, that conversation happened and lasted, less than 24 hours before they offered him a contract?
Yeah.
Okay, that.
Look, I'm not mad at it. I personally, not a huge CD fan because I just don't like Dallas. I just think they're overhyped. So everything you said, I believe it to be true with my heart. I just can't. Right now, specifically because he's injured. But yeah, I mean, you see the talent. Dallas has talent everywhere. It's just they can never put it all together. And that's what always gets me about them specifically.
Put CD Lamb on the Bears. Do you like him then? It's okay to say yes. You know.
I would take somebody over both of those. I would take a different player completely. Jamar Chase is my number 3. He is. He's my number 3. I honestly think without a running game and at least a very solid number 2, Jefferson can get overlooked by a couple or by 2 other receivers that I have on my list. So he's very talented. He's very good, but he's not a let me get 3 tight ends. He's my only receiver out there. He's going to win in jump balls. He's just not that type of receiver to me, where he's still very good, very productive, but I just don't think he's as dominant force as 2 other receivers that I have on my list, basically.
You know, that's a very hot take, and I'm actually curious to see what backlash you might receive from that. I respect it. But I mean, did you see Jamar Chase play last year?
Oh, no, I did. No, I saw it, but is the offense completely geared towards you and your number 2 is arguably a number 1 anywhere else he goes? Yeah, like, I get it.
I'll give you that. T. Higgins. I respect that.
And that's just why I have him at number 3. But also, it's only a top 5 list. Like, everybody on the list is good. It's just I don't feel like they're number 1. So
Yeah, you know, that is probably I will admit I was surprised a little bit because usually most people have Jamar in the top 2 minimum.
Yeah.
So I definitely appreciate the difference in opinion, and I'm curious to see who you have above Jamar Chase. You know, speaking of, I think my number 2 might have a little bit of an edge depending on the season and the productivity you want to give him. But I mean, hey, I got Justin Jefferson, Jay Jettis at number 2. And I mean, the highlight catches are there, right? We can roll the tape. The productivity is there. We can check the numbers. The flair is there. We can look at the change during the game. We know what he is about. We know he represents the type of receiver that you don't expect to cook you until the game is over. You know, it's one of those, okay, I'm lined up against Jay Jettis before the game is over, halftime. Okay, how does he have 2 touchdowns and 75 yards?
I agree. Yeah.
I don't know how that happened. And it'll be off of third down, out routes. You can throw him a fade. He can slide in the slot, run a drag, get you a first down. You can throw it over the top. It's just he's one of those do-it-all receivers, and there's not a lot of receivers like that in the league. So if you can do it all and produce on top of that and give me a little bit of flair, yeah, I think you are definitely deserving of a top 3 spot in my book. And even though the Vikings are going through a little bit of a quarterback carousel right now, that's not his fault. And the only time that we really saw a slight dip in production from Justin Jefferson was when J.J. McCarthy became his quarterback, and that was also his first NFL game. So I don't think that's fair to Justin to say, oh well, when you got J.J. McCarthy something. No. Look at every other game except for those first 2, and then we can talk. So.
yeah, I echo everything you just said. Like, that's why I've not said Justin Jefferson, because he may or may not be on my list. He just may be at a higher spot. Now, at number 2, I have, and I know a lot of people are going to hate everything about this, A.J. Brown. I feel like A.J. Brown physically is exactly what you're looking for in a receiver. He's an absolute dog. He does the intangibles. Not only does he run block, does he compete for jump balls, he does things to get your team engaged. He's also an intellectual. He's reading on the sideline, okay? So a lot of good things going on. So that's actually why I have him at number 2. I feel like there's been a lot of, for lack of a better word, slander on Hurts in this offense. I know it's looked a little clunky, okay? It hasn't looked great, okay? They obviously have reins on it for whatever reason. They're winning games. I'm not mad at that. But we also know that Hurts can throw the football whenever he has to. He's shown the ability to when he's allowed to. Look kind of back in college when he was at Oklahoma, he was able to throw it all around. That didn't disappear from a quarterback. Do they like just to run the ball and be super simple on offense? That's what I would say. But because of that, I feel like A.J. Brown is not able to shine in the aspect that I think he could on really any other offense. That's why I have him at number 2, even though his numbers sometimes look non-existent, to be honest with you.
I respect it. I respect it because he is that physical, homegrown. I'm gonna outmuscle you for this ball type of receiver, right?
Facts.
I get that you said that there's a lot of hurt in that offense, no pun intended, but they do have this individual named Saquon Barkley in the backfield, so naturally, sometimes you prioritize based on convenience, right?
Not only that, but you also have another Heisman winning receiver right next to you. It's like they have weapons all over the field. That's why it's so wild to me.
Too. But let me ask you this. Put AJ Brown on Dallas. What does he do? Without a doubt.
In my opinion, I think he would look almost identical to how CD does numbers wise. He might have a few more touchdowns just because they throw more jump balls in the red zone, but I feel like I think they'd almost be identical. I really do. They play exactly the same. They play on the outside. They would catch a lot of deep balls, just kind of thrown up, which CD has a lot of fun with. He's running off screens, yards after catch. They'd be very close to the same player. Tree would not look the same, but yeah.
The Tennessee Titans version of AJ Brown is what you're saying.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
I respect that because he was a monster when he was in Tennessee. I to this day I don't understand what the Tennessee Titans GM was doing with that trade. Still don't understand it to this day. Shout out to everyone who saw what the hell happened there because it's a head scratcher. You trade. It's like trading a Bentley for a bag of Cheetos. I don't. The rich get richer, and Philly continues to get richer every year. And when it comes to AJ Brown, he's a dog. I just wish that he would, like you said, shine the way that he needs to shine in that offense. But I don't necessarily think that that's his decision. I think that falls on coaching, and there's a lot of talent on that Philly offense. So, when you got 3 alphas on the team, you got to feed the ball.
Yeah.
Me, number 1.
Number 1, my boy.
I mean, does it go at this point? Does it really go without me saying? I mean, it's definitely Jamar Chase. I mean, I know you had him at number 3, but if there is a receiver that can single-handedly say, I'm going to have 100 yards receiving next week, and then do it. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's cockiness or just absolute confidence in your game. But if you can not only do that, but make a future Hall of Fame quarterback look better, shout out to Joe Burrow, because you are his number 1 receiver, I think that plays a role too. And it's almost as if defenders just forget to play defense when he has the ball. He's made so many defenders look absolutely stupid on some of the simplest plays. It could be an out route. It could be a post route. Next thing you know, the defender's either out of bounds, missed a tackle, and Jamar Chase is in the end zone. And he does that week in and week out. And I'm pretty sure in most fantasy drafts, he went number 1 this year. And I'm pretty sure in most fantasy drafts, he went number 1 last year if it wasn't for Christian McCaffrey. So what are we really doing here? If he's the first person that you look at or think of when we're talking receivers right now, does it really? Do I need I say more?
No, I like it. I just moved him down on my list. I have him at 3, but that's also because his quarterback just got injured. I feel like some of that production would definitely slip down. So for me, at my number 1, I had Justin Jefferson. And to echo everything you said, he has the flash, he has the speed, he has the off the field stuff that seems to somehow always be positive, which you love to see from your number 1 receiver. I just think you can really go back and forth between Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson. A lot of people do. I just thought I'd squeeze A.J. Brown in there because, I got to give my boy some love. But That is my number one. Now, my boy, let me ask you, do you have any hot takes for this video? Not about receivers, just in general and anything that's going on right now. Do you have any hot takes?
Oh yeah, I got a really hot take one right now. I think that the Colts 3-0 start is a fluke. Yeah, I know that everyone in Indianapolis is jumping for joy, clapping their hands, stomping their feet. I get it. I understand it. I respect it. And this is coming from an Indianapolis Colts fan, right? And you got to understand from my perspective, I get it. And Daniel Jones has become Indiana Jones. Our savior has arrived. Did we forget where he was last year? Can you tell me where he was last year? The Vikings, right? Can you tell me his stats from last season? You don't know? That's right, because there weren't any.
Look, you worry about the wrong thing. Let these people have hope, okay? All the Colts need is a competent quarterback, and they'll have at least a 500 team, and that's all Indy's asking for. They're not asking to win a Super Bowl out here. Can we break 500 and be somewhat exciting?
This Colts season is only going to end one or two ways. They're either not going to win 10 games and miss the playoffs, or they're going to win 10 games, make the wild card, and get blown out of the water in the first round of the playoffs.
Yeah, and both of those are successful seasons. So
How is that a successful season when the Colts have done that for the past 3 seasons? 9.
hey, look what I say we, I'm not a Colts fan. Look what they started with, okay? You had Richardson, which you were apparently the Colts were coming out, they wanted to move him to tight end after week 1. So at least you have a competent quarterback. You have some weapons. Taylor looks good. You have a couple receivers. Your defense doesn't look terrible. You're like, hey, we have some pieces. If we get a quarterback, maybe we make a trade. We can compete in the playoffs with this roster. So, you know what? I don't hate it.
It sounds like Fitz magic to me. That's yeah.
Look,
The GOAT? Is that who you talking about? Fitzpatrick? Okay, look, if he has a career like Fitzpatrick's, he would be the happiest man, okay?
Fitzpatrick is the best quarterback of all time through the first 4 weeks of the season.
Yeah, plus if he doesn't start his first game until about week 8, he also has a 4-week span where he could win an MVP. So, you can't be mad at it.
I mean, we said hot takes. My hot take is the Colts season is fool's gold. Fool's gold. You know, like that.
I think they're going to get exactly what you said, and I think that is amazing. Like, that's kind of what every Colts fan I've spoke with was like, if we can just find a way to sneak into the playoffs, even if we get blown out, or we just end on somewhat of a high note, it's a good thing.
And that's the problem. Colts fans have become conditioned to be content with mediocrity, and I don't understand why that is okay. So we want to sneak into the playoffs to get our asses beat?
Look, because we had this conversation a second ago. It's really hard for organizations whose main job is to make money lose games and be bad so that they can be good in the future. For NFL teams, they have a very hard time doing that. NBA teams, my 76ers have been in the process for 10 years, okay? But NFL teams don't do it. They don't do it.
NFL teams, some, not all, some tank, get the draft capital. Some actually develop the quarterbacks that they draft. Could be a straight towards Indianapolis, but we won't go there.
it is. Have they ever done that? Ever?
I mean, Andrew Luck didn't need to be developed.
Exactly. And then everyone that they got after that was already an aging out of the league quarterback.
The Indianapolis Colts have had 9 starting quarterbacks since 2018.
They obviously don't know what they're doing in that department, but
Hold on. Wait a minute. What did you just say?
they don't know what they're doing in that department. It's obvious. It's very obvious. Since after Luck, whoever is the head of that department has fell on hard times.
So you say that, but I'm supposed to sit here and believe that Indiana Jones is the savior?
But hold on. You're saying the word savior. I'm saying I agree with you. Sneaking into the playoffs and getting blown out is amazing. And you're like, he's the savior? Like, no, they're sneaking into the playoffs and they're getting blown out. That's what I'm saying is beautiful. Because that's exactly what Colts fans expected from this season. unless Richardson was healthy and he has just a cannon of an arm, and they're like, you know what, maybe we're sneaky in the playoffs, but that has been not been the case at all for this team.
I'll give you that. I'll give you that.
So,
Hey,
But love the hot take. Like I said, Colts fans are Colts fans are delusional anyway, but we're not talking about that. But if you are somebody that's new to the channel, really appreciate you stopping by to the podcast. We'll have some more coming out very shortly. But if you are new, make sure you hit the subscribe button, notification bell to get notified every time we post a video, and leave a comment in the comment section down below of how you feel of our top 5 wide receiver list in the league right now. I know it's a little bit biased, but I mean, your list is going to be biased too. And just like that, we will see you in the next one. Peace.